This MHacks, we kind of looked back at the statistics from the last two MHacks and realized that that there weren't that many women attending the event, and we actually had a huge drop off from the first event to the second event as we scaled the event up. So we decided to do something about it this time, and I'm going to talk a little about what we did. Kind of what worked, what didn't work, and like our approach and everything, and hopefully you guys can gain something from that. But the biggest thing is I really want to provoke a discussion in the community about what we can actually do to kind of face this problem head on. So as you can see, here's a graph of the percentage of women who attended MHacks 1, 2, and 3. As you can see, from 1 to 2, we had a drop, and 1 wasn't that great to begin with. So the biggest thing that happened there was that as we scaled up the hackathon from 500 to about 1,200 people, a lot of the guys who attended the first hackathon convinced all of their guy friends as fast as possible to sign up for the hackathon. So that's what happened there. We had a lot more people, but it was a lot more guys mainly. And then as you can see, for MHacks III, we nearly tripled the ratio of female attendance at MHacks, and here I'll talk about some of the stuff we did. So the first thing that I did, I went in with a completely blank slate. We only started this about 3 weeks, a month before the event, so we didn't have that much time. So I went with a blank slate and I started talking to women in the tech community. I specifically reached out to Women 2.0 because it was the largest women in tech organization that I knew about, and I pretty much just interviewed 15 plus women about what they thought about hackathons. If they went, why did they go? If they didn't go, why didn't they go? And the biggest thing that I found, which was interesting, is that women didn't feel like they belonged at hackathons. And this isn't all women, but the women that I talked to who didn't go to hackathons, their number one reason for not attending was that they didn't feel invited, they didn't feel welcome, they didn't feel like it was for them. And these are women in tech, keep in mind. So that was surprising to me. And it was actually, I had a very different responses from the women that I talked to who did already attend hackathons. So that was like a really interesting thing, and it was hard in the beginning to kind of decipher through what the actual problem is, but this is what kind of the consensus was among most of the women I talked to. So the first thing that Women 2.0 suggested was to just reach out, to say, we're going to make an effort to make this event more inviting and more welcoming to women. So that's what we did. We did this post, and we had 35 shares. It was a lot of likes, a lot of like really positive response. And the biggest thing that it did was actually female leaders in the tech community that were already coming to hackathons and everything. They were like, oh wow, you can see this comment from Katie right here, like, awesome. I'm definitely going to go to MHacks, and I'm going to push for more Boston area females. So that's the biggest thing that this did. This got us a bunch of inbound messaging from leaders in the community that were already there, saying like, okay, we're on board. Let's make a change here. And right away, we also received a bunch of criticism and pushback. The biggest thing, we had to just be doing something concrete. So we knew, like, no matter what we tried here, this is just a really controversial topic. So we were going to get pushback, and it's really hard to decipher, who to listen to and which way to go. But the biggest thing we knew is that we couldn't do anything. We also made some mistakes. As you can see, we opened up some more tickets for women, and I titled the URL mhacksloveswomen.eventbrite.com, and that was something that, I didn't think too much about it, and that was actually not a good move. So we definitely made mistakes along the way, and I think one of the biggest things, we were kind of willing to make some of those mistakes, and that's okay, because even though we made those mistakes, we really had some great results. And the biggest thing we realized is if we do nothing, hackathons are only going to become more male dominated. So you have to do something, and you have to do something concrete. You have to reach out to people and get them to sign up and really empower the leaders that are already there. Another topic was public versus private messaging. So we started off by just reaching out with this big post, and that was really effective, but we received some pushback, and I've kind of been going back and forth on this still, and I'm still not sure. But the biggest thing that I know is that if you want someone to come to an event, if you want to convince them to do something, whether, male, female, just doesn't matter. They need to be hit about at least three times from 3 different angles. So you definitely want to have, public messaging out there. And even more importantly, you want to have the private messaging. You want to have multiple friends reach out to you and say you should come to this event. So definitely doing both is important, but doing the private messaging, getting someone's friends to hit them is the most effective. And then the biggest thing that we realized towards the end is that people need to be invited to hackathons. When someone goes to their first hackathon, it's because a friend reached out to them and said hey, you should come to this event. So the biggest thing is really, especially if you're a female leader in the community, really push hard this year. Really push hard to invite all of your friends, whether they're technical, non-technical. I invite hundreds of people to hackathons, and I convince them to come. And because I'm a guy, most of those people are guys, and I've gotten really good at it. I even have a post called "Hackathons Are Like Gyms." And what I realize is that a lot of the messaging that I do when I'm convincing someone to go to a hackathon, I've gotten really good at convincing guys. But I'm not necessarily the right person to be convincing girls to go to hackathons. So the biggest thing we realized, this movement needs to be led by women in the community. And yeah, that's it.